This is a video to show you how to use the closing timeline report. This report is specifically for loans that are in process to close and to be able to manage when dates are due to keep the closings on track. Now, if we go up to My Account, in the setup wizard that you originally set up, you would notice that there was a closing timeline to manage those dates, but you can go back to it right here from My Account. And this is where you're going to set up when you want these target dates to show to manage these milestones. Now, if you notice here, MTS, it is based on business days from the actual close date. So it doesn't count holidays, but it does do manage based on business days. So here are the milestones that MTS will manage for you. Target docs back. So when do you want to receive the docs back from escrow? That would be the last milestone. So you're counting backwards from the closing date. So if you want documents to come back 2 business days prior to closing, that's what this represents here. And you could change it to 1 or whatever that date is that you would like. And then when do you want to have your docs at escrow? MTS defaults it at 3 business days. You can change that to how many ever days that you would want that completed. When do you want to be in line for documents or for your CD to go out? 6 business days prior to closing. So you can utilize that for if you manage based on CD or when you go in line for documents, you can determine that here. What about your target underwriting approval? MTS just defaults it at 10 business days prior to closing. Again, you can change that to anything that you want to. When do you want to submit to underwriting? How many business days prior to closing? I have 17 business days prior to closing, so that gives you 7 days in between from the submit to final loan approval. How many business days prior to do you want to have the appraisal ordered? 18 business days prior to closing, I have that we want the appraisal to come back. And then client documents, this can be utilized for whatever you want to. What I would utilize it for is when you want to have the file submitted to processing. That's when you have your initial documents back from the client so you can move to that next step. Okay, so that's how you manage the closing timeline dates. Now let's go to the actual closing timeline report. You can get to it here from Deals View, right here, closing timelines. You can also get to it based on a particular client. So let's say that we're going to add a new client to the closing timeline report. Let's do Julie Fulton here. So this brings us to Julie's deal. We just click Included on Closing Timeline, hit Save. Now we can also get to the report right here. And here's all of the loans that are in process to close. Okay, and you'll notice that Julie that we just added is right here at the top. So now what you do is just hit Edit. Contract receive date, let's say today. Closing date, let's say, is the 27th. So it was received on 8/27. Closing date is 9/27. Just hit Update. And you'll notice that Fulton moved down here at the bottom. What MTS does is it puts in all of those dates. So here are all the milestones that need to be met. And based on what you put in your managed closing timelines and how many business days you wanted each of these activities to take place in order to have a smooth on-time closing. So it makes it really easy to manage your pipe or be able to see that your team's on track. So MTS will automatically sort it based on urgent date. So the next urgent date that has to get met for Julie is the last one in your pipe. It's 8/31. So it's going to search for the first urgent date here that has not, first target date that has not been met. That's the urgent date. So if we go ahead and edit here, and we'll say the documents were requested, appraisal ordered, and let's just go ahead and say that the target docs are back from the client today. So that was the first milestone that had not been met. Update. And now you'll notice on Fulton, the next urgent date that has to be met is 9/3. Because again, MTS is going to go search for the next target date that has not been met. And then you'll notice here, it'll put in the actual date that we mark that the documents have been completed. And actually I put 8/20, let's just say 27, since the contract did come in on the 27th. All right. Now I don't have any loan numbers listed here, but you can list loan numbers, you can list your loan type, whatever you want to put there. And then if you notice the dots here based on red, yellow, and green, red means that there's an urgent date that has not been met yet and it's passed. Okay. Yellow means that the next urgent date, which is the next milestone that has not been met, the next target date that has not been met, is today. And green, it's in the future. Now you can sort by any of the dates here. If you want to sort on any of these columns, you can do that. But again, MTS is going to automatically open up sorting based on the urgent date, the target date that has not been met. You can also keep notes over here for quick notes that you want to. And you can keep a communication log here. So any notes that you had originally put in on the contact for deals, it'll all show here. But this is a nice way to manage any communication that's happening with your loans. So if you've got a team member that's working on your in process to close, you can have a status update required to put there each day. So it makes it really easy again to manage those milestones. Now also you've got the ability here to send out statuses. So if you add to the database the buyer's agent, escrow agent, seller's agent, if you want to put seller in, these need to be added in the database if you want to include these in the milestone. And check whoever you want to be on that milestone. And it'll send an email out based on that actual information that you wanted. Now you can do a preview right here. This is how you can preview what that closing milestone would look like. And it's going to have whatever comment you just put here. It will always have the contract receive date, the number of calendar days, because the agents don't care how many days that you had. It's all based on calendar days, so that's why it lists that here. The appraisal ordered, completed. All of that information, let's go back over there, is listed there. And then you'll notice here that underwriting the pre-approval has not been completed, so it doesn't show that completed date there, but once they're completed, that's when the green date starts showing up. And so this is a great way to keep everybody up to date and everything that's going on with that particular loan. And if you're not putting them into the database individually, as far as the listing agent, the buyer's agent, escrow company, you can just, once you hit send, it'll automatically send it to you, and then you can forward it out to all parties. But it's easier just to put everybody in the database so it can go right out from there. So really great way to manage your loans in process to close and keep everybody on track for a smooth and on-time closing. Thank you again for being a part of the MTS family, and if there's any questions that you have on utilizing any of the software, please feel free to reach out and we can definitely assist you with that. Have a great day.